WW7ATS, Jessica, monitoring. James, I'm going to join you all tonight. I've got a video going, but I'm not going to be on the video, so good times.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. Find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage. There you'll see the exact frequencies we transmit on and receive. Also, there'll be a link on that front page that will take you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a specific tone of 103.5 for this net. That's 103.5 for this net. This is Dave, KD7CYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact on the 08 machine before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Hearing none, again, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. Checked in by video link already is Ron, KD7QKU. Jessica, KF7UHK. Bert, N7CS. Bob, K9PQ. Jim, N7QO. James, WU7N. And myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else that would wish to check into the net this evening? None. Again, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. We'll start it off with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dave. Good evening to the group. This is Ron, KD7QKU. Well, I guess the big news today is the Aurora Borealis. We went out last night, sat on the patio, looked north, turned off the floodlight in the backyard, and I don't know, about 20 minutes, 15 minutes till 11, we gave up and decided to go to bed. Came in and turned on the TV in the bedroom, and Morgan Palmer, the weatherman for Channel 7, was saying, "Oh man, you can see them right now. They're going full swing." So we ran back out on the deck, and sure enough, we could see some light strips. I did not see any color like Jessica's showing in her pictures, but we could see what looked like strips of fog or something, and they would appear and disappear, and they were over the northern sky and overhead. So this morning, Wade came over. Wade's a little farther up the hill, has a better view of the sky north, and he has some pictures. He said he couldn't see much. I thought he was going to be here, but I don't see him. He said that he couldn't see much color with his naked eye, but when he taken a picture with his camera, I guess the color showed up. So anyway, all right, I will turn it back to Ned and see what else everyone has to say. KD7QKU.
see if we can pick up Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK. Yeah, we left about 11:45 or so, because Sylvia got off about 11:15 or so when she got home. Went down to an area called Lowell, or we call it Historic Lowell, and went out this river road. And they were cars parked all up along this road, so we pulled over and found a good spot and set the camera up. And my video camera doesn't have a nice wide angle lens, so I just kind of pointed it up where you see there. And I really couldn't see the colors either, because I'm colorblind, so I have a hard time really distinguishing some colors. But I did turn up the saturation when I was processing my video, so I turned up the color gain, and so you could really see them, and it turned out real well. And that video also, I've sped that up about like 10 times or something. It started about 11 minutes, now it's about a minute and a quarter. So it's what you're seeing is 11 minutes compressed, so you can see it move around a little bit more. So we're going to go out tonight. We're going to go up to Mount Vernon and set up there and probably get along. I'd like to get like an hour's worth of video, so I can have that to play with and see what I find in the sky. So that's it from here up in Everett, KF7UHK.
UHK. Let's go to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, here we go, N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. I got the thumbs up. Yeah, good to see Bert, and howdy to all you critters. And I don't know if Covington Jim is in there or not, I just tuned in. Yeah, okay, we had an absolutely dynamite Aurora experience last night. It started about 10:30. And we went to the cemetery down here on 18th Street, which is out of town, about a mile, and dark and beautiful. You could see all basically 360 degrees. And we had one start, and it looked like a starburst above us. Got real bright, and then it was like being in an umbrella, and all those things came down around, and then we started getting color and so forth, and I had my handheld with me, and so I just got on the K7FEL repeater here, our local club repeater, and asked if anybody was out there watching the Aurora. Well, one of our guys in the club was up on Hurricane Ridge, and they were a mile up, so they were out of the moisture, and it was brighter, and they could see, I think, more color than we could, but we could see reds, subtle reds and subtle greens, and things moving around. It lasted about 45 minutes, and then it just kind of went away. But he said there were so many people at Hurricane Ridge that you could not find a place to park up there. And also, Ennis Hook here, the hook that defines the harbor, had bonfires all up and down it. People were out there, and I heard it was just crazy. So the Aurora map is, we're in a G1 storm presently, and there's another storm coming in either late tomorrow or Monday that might take it back up to the severe G5. And if we have clear weather, of course, we'll be out again. We're going to go tonight back up to the air, down to the cemetery down here. And you walk out kind of in the middle. You can't drive in. They got cables across the driveway, but you can park and hike in, and it's just a great place. And the other interesting thing was, normally we get a really cold air off of the strait here. And we were on a bluff right above the strait there where the cemetery is. It's called Ocean View Cemetery. One of the best views in Port Angeles. And it was balmy. It was the strangest weather. It was like a balmy summer evening. And we had jackets on, but I'll tell you, you didn't really need them. It was very pleasant. So we're going to try it again tonight. Back to you, Dave. This is N7KC Lee in Port Angeles.
Connected, N7KC.
N7KC, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Bert, N7CS.
Well, good evening, everyone. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I had to plug my radio in. I got the thumbs up. Okay. Well, yeah, it's been a while since I've been on the net. I've been cruising for a bit, but I'm home for a couple days and thought I would join the net today. And yes, I too last night got to experience the beautiful aurora. I'll see if I can share some of my pictures there. So let me try this and see if it works. Let's see, hopefully you can see my picture now. Okay, so this is my house, and this is where I got some beautiful, like, I don't know, pinks and purples and greens coming in. The lights and the street lights, which normally, you know, makes you not see stuff at night, actually helped kind of like light me up. And then so it was so bright, you could still see the aurora even with the street lights. Now this is with the phone, taken with my phone, of course. So I mean, in night mode, so it's maybe a 6-second exposure, so I had to stand really still. But yeah, this is one picture. Let me advance to the next one. So here's another one. I mean, this was just a few minutes before, or maybe afterwards, but you can just see how much it changes in just a few minutes. Then this is like the starburst I think Lee was talking about. I was like looking directly overhead, and then it just is like a portal opening up in the sky. It just was colors spewing out of it. It was so fantastic. I kept looking north, and I wasn't seeing anything north. Everything was happening like directly overhead, which was a little strange, because usually when I see these in Alaska, I have to like look towards the north. But this was like mostly overhead and even towards the south. But yeah, this portal, I don't have any video of it like Jessica had, but I mean, it was just fantastic. Here's like another picture of it of like some other houses that just like spewing out the colors over the other houses. Just some more photos. This is from like my back porch. You can see one of my Yagis right there. And here's one from my back porch as well. And you can see the Big Dipper like coming out in the constellation right there, so Ursa Major. And then of course this would be Polaris, the North Star. And yeah, another picture of the house without me in front of it. But yeah, that was my pictures from last night, or my best pictures from last night. Oh, I'm more than 2 minutes now, so I'll turn it back to the net. Bert, this is Bert and Mary Shalyn, 7CS, back to net.
Yes, Bert, thanks for sharing those pictures with us. They were pretty dramatic. Well, let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Well, I'm afraid I missed the boat. I went out looking early in the evening, and like Ron, I went back in, and I intended to go back out again, and then just forgot. So I'm going to be looking forward to, maybe I'll see something tonight, but as Lee said, I'll be looking forward to this next wave coming. Hopefully we'll get a good strong storm again, and that's pretty much the news from here. So I want to get back to the aurora picture, so I'm going to send it to the next one. This is K9PQ, back to net.
K9PQ, thanks for that. And get an ID here. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, I'm not doing video tonight, and I'm the 1.2 gigahertz picture looks more snowy than usual. I don't know if the aurora has anything to do with it, but it sounds like that's the topic of the day. Lee, that's cool. No place to park on Hurricane Ridge. Yeah, well, that's good. Everyone was thinking anyway. And good that you thought to go to the cemetery. Probably not a whole lot of people wanted to go there, but glad you got a good view anyway. Bert, home for a couple of days. Well, like you, I seem to notice that the aurora was more visible overhead and even slightly to the south of my location. I don't know how many times I have seen it, and I don't know how many times I've tried to take a picture of it, but I've never succeeded in taking any pictures until last night. Actually, my wife took the pictures with her cell phone, but that's good. Supposedly tonight it's going to be peaking a little bit earlier than it did last night, maybe starting like right after the sun goes down for 2 hours or so. At least that's what I heard on, I don't remember what station it was, but that's what they said. So we'll have a look at that as well. And nice and cozy temperature-wise here. Yesterday, my thermometer showed 89 here at the house as a peak, and today it actually hit 90 degrees as a peak. I hope we get another warm day. I hope it warms up still tomorrow, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. And then by Monday, it's supposed to for sure be more seasonable weather. But yeah, the aurora is pretty cool. Glad that it's there, and good to hear from everyone. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
QO, and then that acknowledges Wade. W7ITL is signed into the net. What say you, Wade? ITL. Let's go to James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Well, thank you, Dave. WU7N Northeast Bellevue here. Well, thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Bert. Those are some excellent videos and excellent still shots. Bert, you must have a fantastic camera on your phone. Maybe next time around you could tell us what kind of phone you have. Oh, it's one of those slim black ones that are square. I was thinking more like, is it an iPhone or an Android? Oh, it's a G. It would have to be Google. It's a G phone. Okay, well, anyway, it certainly hit the G spot of the aurora there. Good shots. It just fell out before I could stop it. Okay, so anyway, I went out at 12:30 and stared around the sky, and I again went out at 4:30, but I guess that wasn't when the action was going on, because at one point I thought, well, is that it? And it looked like there was a band. I go, no, that's a cloud. That's got to be just a cloud. However, my sister down at Harstein Island, they are away from all the light pollution. They got some pretty incredible shots out over Puget Sound of it, and I guess, you know, this is strong enough. It didn't much matter when they walked out. I mean, they didn't have to time anything. It was just, because it was so dark. And they said when they came back, they were out there long enough. And when they came back, they don't, I guess, stargaze a lot, or they're not interested in astronomy. Because they said when they came back in, everything was so bright. And I go, yeah, that's what kind of happens when your eyes adjust. That was kind of a funny comment. The 1.2 gigahertz signal here is a 5+ tonight. So we should order the federal government to provide us with geomagnetic storms all the time if that's, you know, causing the picture to improve this much. It is a solid, rock-solid picture coming off the mountain. Anybody who's doing software experiments, this is a good night to spin your 1.2 gig Yagi around to Cougar Mountain and see what you can do, because it's no roll and very good resolution for NTSC analog video. I guess, you know, the fact that you can see it better on a camera, because my sister was saying, I mean, she's obviously not colorblind, and she was saying how that she really had to use her imagination to see the colors, but when she put the camera up, she goes, oh, there it is, but then she, like, put the camera down, wait, it's gone, wait, now it's back, no, now it's gone, oh, wait, now it's back. So I guess we now have the same problem that all of NASA has with their optics, because like the largest, latest space telescope that's up there is outside the range of human vision. Now, there's some animals, particularly, I guess, pit vipers, that can see in that range, but humans can't. So what they do is they go, well, here's the data across that range. If we just uniformly kept everything the same and moved it down into the visual range, here's what you would see. And I go, well, okay, if I ever, become a snake or get reincarnated as a snake, I'll know what to expect. But like I think it's the James Webb is up there. If you just looked at raw data with the human eye, you couldn't see anything. But that's a common problem, I think, with a lot of the imaging that doesn't use what we normally see in the Roy. It's called the Roy G. Biv range: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So anyway, now we all can experience that and won't be so harsh on NASA. Funniest thing I heard about that was the pictures from Mars all have to look red because that's what the public expects Mars to look like. But if you actually were there, sticking your head out of the camera, it wouldn't look exactly like that to your naked eye. But they shift it so it looks like that because that's what you expect to see. Anyway, on that note, I also put the swpc.noaa.gov website up there. I don't have cool pictures to show you, but I do have that link, and it is very informative, it's very brief, and it gives forecasts of what to expect. So I'll be out there looking tonight to see if anything else happens tonight. Let's turn it back to Dave, KD7ZYM, or Net Control, and I am James, WW7N.
WW7N, and this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. Oh my. Here in Lake City the last couple of days with this beautiful weather, I've been doing yard work, getting caught up with it. Last year I had part of a fence repaired, and there was a bunch of wood trimmings left over, which I was going to burn, but the burn ban came on in the fall, and then the winter came, bird ban, and so the weather got good, so I fired up my fire pit, and got rid of those pieces of wood. So even with 80 degrees, it burned quite well, just a bunch of cedar scraps, but I got that out of the way, and then did some other yard work. Oh, then I rested, did some paperwork, came inside. But as far as the Aurora Borealis went last night, I went out on my front porch and checked it at about 11:15, and I just noticed it was just a little bit of a blue haze. And then I got out my camera, and as they suggested, get your camera setting and then look at it through your camera lens. And there I did see some green and a little bit of red, so that was about it. But it was pretty light. It wasn't really saturated. Didn't have that burst effect that Bert was able to get. So that was, I think, Bert's burst was about the best I've seen with the whole color thing that happened. So that was pretty good. So that's about it. It's clear here in Lake City. It's 77 degrees, so that's what I've got to add. So we can send it back up to the top to Ron. KD7QKU.
Okay, KD7QKU here. Well, that was interesting to hear everyone's report. Sounds like just what everybody saw something. I probably saw the least. I mean, I didn't use my camera on my phone. I didn't even think about that. But I didn't, like I say, I didn't see color with my naked eye. So anyway, let's see. I saw 83 degrees here yesterday, and it's been over 82 today. And as far as I know, I didn't look at the temperature all the time, so that's the highest I have to see when I was coming here. Turn on the computer today. I put in this little mini split, it's a heat pump. There's one unit in the bedroom and one unit in the living room. And before bedtime last night, I turned it on, switched it over to the cooling mode, cooled the house down. But then today, around noon, it was getting pretty warm. So I switched it over to the cooling mode and set it on 70 degrees. And man, it's kept the house so nice and comfortable today. man, I'm going to really enjoy it this summer, that's for sure. It's just wonderful. When the lawnmowers came mow the lawn on Thursday, and they mowed it really short in the front yard, our ground is uneven. It has holes in it every now and then. The tire of the lawnmower drops in a hole and it almost scalps the grass. So it looked to me like there was a lot of places that was going to turn brown, kind of die. So I decided last night I better turn the sprinkler system on in the front yard. So I opened up the little door and turned off everything except for the front yard, and I put it on for 10 minutes, put it on automatic, set it to come on at 3:30 in the morning, and I guess it came on at 3:30. But when I got up this morning, I got up a little bit late. It was about 7 o'clock, and I opened the curtains and looked out. The sprinklers were running. So I think they ran for 3 hours. I don't know, or 3.5 hours. So I ran out in the garage and shut them off. So I think it was, I don't know, maybe there's been a power failure. I know there's been some power failures, so maybe the internal clock is all mixed up. I don't know. I really don't know how to set it. I looked at it. I'm going to have to have Armando come over maybe and reset it all for me. But yeah, I don't want it to run for 3 hours. I know it ran a long time because there was puddles in the flower beds and it was running out in the street and everything else. So it had been on for quite a while. So I guess the front lawn got soaked up really good. So let's see. I guess that's about it. Haven't done anything exciting. I need to get my fishing license, and I was going to go down towards the ferry terminal. There's another place down there, and they have a little store and a fishing shop, and they rent stuff. I got my fishing license down there last year, so I told Joanne, come on, we'll run down there. And it's always pretty down there to look at the water and everything that's going on. So we jumped in the car, went out on Pearl Street, and started to head down there. The cars were lined up going down there as far as I could see. So I just taken the next left and came home. I guess I'll have to go down there on Monday. Everybody had the same idea. I suppose they had their picnic lunch packed and they were headed down to the beach. So anyway, lots of traffic over here. All right, that's it. Back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU. Well, let's see if Jessica can break away from her movie, KF7UHK.
How people get an idea, and I'll jump into it. We were going up to our house the other day, and there's a little place that sells rocks and gravel and little trees, and it's only like a quarter mile from our Mount Vernon house on Highway 536, and there was a lineup of cars trying to get into the parking lot to go, pick up gravel and stuff with their pickup trucks, and I thought that was kind of interesting, because Sylvia said, do you want to buy a few more trees? Because we buy these little arborvitae trees, these little kind of thin, tall pine trees. They're really good for a barrier, and we've been putting these things in. And so I thought that was funny. Now for dinner tonight, I just want to tell you, because we're going to go out late tonight, so we got to have a good meal. But we're smoking a piece of salmon out here in our smoker with some cedar chips, and we'll have some baked potatoes and some fresh frozen corn that we're having along with that. So that's what our meal is tonight, and it should be really good. I'm going to make a little brown sugar butter sauce to kind of pour on top of the salmon. It's going to be delicious. So that's it from here. This is KF7UHK.
UHK, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, N7KC, Lee, in Port Angeles. Am I making the trip okay? Am I getting in? Oh, good. Okay, very good. Well, and Jessica, I noticed, I think that's probably Vega by the tree there. We had reds in that area too last night. And Bert, I could see the Gemini twins there, and one of yours. I saw Cassiopeia, and of course the Dipper and Polaris. And Bert, I'm thinking maybe you could just publish your photos in the photo section of Groups.io or something like that. You've really got a nice set of photos. the cameras, of course, are very sensitive to the reds and the infrared. In fact, you can check the operation of your television remote or a CD remote or whatever just by simply looking at it with a solid-state camera like in your phones. It's kind of fun to see the infrared LED blink. So I think they enhance the red substantially. Now you would think that green ought not to be affected. Sorry, that was just a local repeater ID here. Anyway, Bert, I think you saw what we saw here, but you saw it more vividly. But we were only 140 feet above the water, and it's pretty damp. And I understand that people on Hurricane Ridge had a much brighter display and that sort of thing, probably similar to what I talked to him a while. I also talked to a fellow who was in Mount Vernon. I put my handheld, 4 watt, mind you, 4 watts from the cemetery into Lyman Hill repeater, and I was tapping the guy in, and where was he? I don't know, there in the repeater area. And yeah, he gave me, he said he could hear just a little bit of noise on me. So I was close to full quieting that repeater with a handheld of 4 watts in the middle of the cemetery in Port Angeles. Pretty good. That's quite a repeater. And of course I heard it full quieting. It was wonderful. Anyway, it was a good time. And I know, if you guys, I'm sure you're probably aware of the Aurora map here. It's actually retracting now. It was down, the green was down here around over Washington a little while ago. If it's like this, we're not going to bother to go out. But last night it was way down in here and so forth, and the red, we were in the red up here in Washington. And so if it's retracting, it was better a few minutes ago. This is a dynamic presentation. It's active. So I don't have anything else, and I'm out of time here. So, yeah, Bert, great pictures. I enjoyed those. This is at 7KC Lee in Port Angeles. Dave?
In 7KC, thanks for that. And to get some ID, and again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'll pause in case anybody else wishes to join the net. This is Dave, KD7CYM. And hearing none, let's go to Bert, N7CS.
So yeah, people were asking what phone I was using. I was using the Google Pixel 8 Pro. That was a phone I picked up a couple of months ago. And let's see. Oh, and James mentioned something about the ominous power lines showing up in some of my images. And yeah, so there's a park near my house, or a little walking trail, and I went down that walking trail to try to get the initial pictures of the aurora, because that's kind of the darkest area I can go into that's nearby that I don't have to drive anywhere for. But yes, unfortunately, there's no way to not get the power lines in that shot, because I'm no matter which way I'm pointing, they're kind of all overhead there. But it still made a good shot, I think, either way. Later on, because I didn't think I would be able to see them near my house with all the lights, so I was super surprised that I could see them with all the light pollution around the house and neighborhood area there. But yeah, those were probably the best northern lights I've seen. I've seen them in Alaska a couple of times when I've done my cruises there, but they've always been usually pretty faint when I've seen them. So this was a much better experience. So I don't know. I plan to go see them tonight after the net, or try to go see them again. But we'll see. The chart Lee just showed didn't look as promising as it did yesterday. But let's see what else. But yeah, so yeah, I was in Alaska for 2 weeks recently. Pretty early season for Alaska. It was late April, early May. The weather was surprisingly good. Surprisingly, warm-ish, except at 2 of the ports where it was kind of cold. Didn't have any rain. so that was really exciting. So going back on Monday for another 2 weeks, so hopefully the weather will be just as good or warmer. But anyway, it's close to 2 minutes now, so I'll pass it to the next person. This is Bert in Marysville, and 7CS, back to net.
CS, thanks for that. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Well, once again, just great pictures, and yeah, Bert especially, those were fantastic. That one overhead shot, the power lines didn't detract from that at all, in my opinion. I mean, that was just a spectacular shot with that, like you said, like what they show in the movies. If you're going into a wormhole, is what it looked like. So very cool. And Jessica, I'm glad you got some video of that. I'm gonna watch that website. The prediction center that James and Lee mentioned, and I may not go out tonight either, but I'm going to see if that second wave comes. Hopefully I'll get a chance to go out and see something tomorrow night. But yeah, let's see what else. Well, yeah, the heat, of course. I've been enjoying it. It hasn't been too hot except for sleeping. I've got AC going in my bedroom, so that takes care of that. But otherwise, actually, I've kind of enjoyed the heat this time around. It hasn't gotten too far. Certainly not up to 90 like at Jim's place. That kind of surprised me. It was so much warmer down there, Jim. It got up to low to mid 80s here, I think. I don't remember the exact number, but somewhere in maybe 84-ish, somewhere around there for a high. So not too bad. Okay, I guess that's good for me. I'll send it back, K9PQ.
PQ, let's go to Wade in Tacoma, W7ATS. ITL. No response. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Jim, you're talking about Roy G. Biv. Well, a couple of decades ago, the powers to be deleted the I from Roy G. Biv. Just like someone in authority deleted the planet Pluto. It's no longer a planet. So I guess now it's Roy G. Biv. I don't know. Maybe people could not discern the differences adequately. I don't know. Anyway, Ron, you're talking about your sprinkler system. Oh, I had a sprinkler system in Houston, and I just always used it in the manual mode. I did not want it to be running when I was not at home, so I would just keep everything in the off position, and then maybe when I would want to do some watering sometime after dark, I just let them all run for half an hour or an hour, whatever I felt like it needed, and it worked pretty well. That way I didn't have to worry about it. I did have also the main shut-off for it, and the anti-siphon valve was on a piece of pipe which was kind of in the middle of the front lawn, and neighborhood kids would come and jump on that thing and play on it, and they broke that thing twice. So it was another good thing for me to just not keep it in an automatic mode. Might just want to at least consider that. Bert, yeah, thanks for all those pictures. And Jessica, thanks for the pictures as well. I wish I could have seen them better. But Bert, I was thinking there, I did not have enough resolution to discern any power lines, but it sounds like with all those power lines, and they will not allow you to have outdoor antennas. Huh. Oh well. Let's see. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
QO and the elusive Wade. W7ITL looks like he's back with us. What say you, Wade?
With myself apparently, because I did a whole transmission, so I'm going to just make this short just to make sure you guys can hear me. Just nod if you can hear me. Okay, good. Well, before I start going into my ramble here, I wanted to make sure you guys can hear me this time. All right, well, today's been pretty cool. I really like the weather. It is like hot, and it's like it's starting to get creeping into summer. Can you hear me, guys? Whiskey 7 India Tango Loop. Oh, okay. I thought I saw somebody saying that they couldn't hear me. All right, well, I went to the Radio Club Tacoma today and got a visit with some folks for a while, but it was short-lived. I had to take my niece to her driving test. She did a written test today, so yeah, did that, and yeah, it's my wife's birthday coming up, so I've been pampering her and taking her places. I went to a bar with her for the afternoon, and then after that we went to another bar. It's a little Italian restaurant near the waterfront, Whiscolosos. I can't pronounce it, but that was pretty cool. And I took my her sister along with us as well, so she can visit with her. Let's see, other than that, the Aurora Borealis, I got to take some pictures last night of that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show them tonight, but maybe I'll try on the next round. Again, nice to see everybody, nice to see Bert and Jess. I don't know if I thought I heard somebody saying that Jessica was on the net. Yeah, nice to see you, Jessica, and yeah, really nice to see everybody tonight. Beautiful weather and just all around good night. So I'll turn it back to Net.
W7ITL, thanks for that. Well, let's go to James, WU7N.
I have, did I leave the digital side and then come back? Did anyone? I did, okay. So, yeah, this I was trying to watch the 29-minute forecast map. I think it overwhelmed the outrageously powerful processor in this machine. I would go over to the other one. I might start doing that because, man, if you do anything other than one Zoom meeting, this machine just kind of locks up. Well, once again, thanks for the pictures. I was looking at that map. Boy, it doesn't look like it's very exciting, although the forecast said there was supposed to be more coronal mass ejections that should be getting here later tonight. So it is, thank you very much for the pointer to that map, Lee, because when I wake up, I'll probably leave the computer running and on that map and just see what it looks like. And if not, I will just use, the usual events, which, I'll say rather than video or still pictures, it's streaming, and then go back to bed. What I meant, Bert, with the power lines is I thought that was very artistic. Not that the power lines detracted from the picture at all, but auroras are supposed to, the big three things they say affect other than spacecraft are power lines, and what is the other two? GPS signals, which I don't quite understand that. I would think they would be out. Maybe it's because they get the satellites get affected with all the energy flowing around them. And then that third thing, let's see, the HFEH and UHF propagation. It is interesting. I read the complete NOAA weather briefing because it was very well written. It was trying to give people a context of what was going on. And I guess in 2003 they actually had power outages in Northern Europe. I don't really honestly remember that. I mean, it must have happened. And I was probably working at the Network Management Center at that time, so I'm surprised I don't remember it because that would be something we would have tracked. But then I think there was a 2008 event, but it wasn't as dramatic as the 2003 in terms of its effect on real life. I think I saw the power flicker once a day or two ago, but I can't really remember. I mean, the power flickers so often on my street. I'm so glad they did at least replace the power lines under my street, because the apocryphal tale goes that when the guy came here with his cabling, it was supposed to be strung up. It was cable designed to be strung up on poles, and the developer said, "Oh, it'll be fine. Just go ahead and bury it in the ground." And we pretty much had the Zimbabwe Power Service until they replaced all of those lines under our street with cabling that is designed to be under a wet street in the Pacific Northwest. I can't remember the last time I used my battery power bank, and not recently. And I remember that was every fall event. Water would come out of the sky and our lights would go on and off. You couldn't get anything done unless you had a fairly sophisticated UPS system on your computer. And that's why I also went with CenturyLink, is because every time we take a power hit, Comcast would fall flat on its lips, and even after the power came up, it would be 5 or 10 minutes before you would get everything going again. The other thing that was kind of funny is on Puget Sound Energy's little power outage map, there were 35 units in Bellevue, and I was telling friends, if there was a power outage anywhere in British Columbia, Oregon, or Washington State, then they automatically would just turn on our 35 units without power, because we probably were. But anyway, that's been repaired now, much improvement, and I'm certainly glad for that. So let me turn it back to Dave, KD7ZYM. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
WU7N, thanks for that. And we'll get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. I don't know, Bert, with those power lines going by, maybe that was the magnet that drew those great clouds into your location. That was kind of interesting. You did get some spectacular pictures from that. And that color burst was unbelievable. I've never seen that. I've been around a lot of episodes where I've been able to view that in the past. Probably the last time I was down in Hanford on the reservation, and the clouds, just like you see in the pictures, were kind of like curtains coming down out of the sky, moving back and forth, and it looked like a bunch of draperies hanging down in color from the heavens. So that was the last time I had really seen anything of that magnitude, but I think Bert captured the best so far this evening. So that's about what I've got to say here in Lake City. So we'll move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Well, it's been another interesting net. It's fun to hear what everybody has to say. And Lee, I think one of my best friends is buried in that cemetery out west of town there. I just happened to sit here and remember that's I think where he's probably buried. So anyway, I'm just going to listen out, and I'm going to turn it back to Net and listen to you guys. KD7QKU.
7QKU. Well, let's try Jessica, KF7UHK.
Hey, Jessica here. Up in Everett, where it's getting windy out. And I noticed our little Japanese maple in the backyard rustling its leaves quite hard. So it'll be interesting to see if the weather this day is nice and clear for anything happening. Sylvia and I are scrambling to find all our batteries and make sure they're all charged up. I've got four batteries for my video camera, and usually one does it. But I always keep 3 extra just in case. and Sylvia's got 2 to her cameras, and I think she's decided she needs to go out and buy some more batteries. So one of these days we're going to go shopping and make our inventory ready to go at at a moment's notice. We watched this show called Survivor. I don't know if anybody else wants to watch the Survivor, but religiously we watched Survivor, and I was curious about one of the cameras they use, so I looked up, I put into Google, what cameras do they use on Survivor, and I got this whole page of like camera online or something, or Camera America or something, and they showed all these behind the scenes of what it looks like on Survivor to film this show. And on a beach of 7 people, there'll be 30 cameras out there, along with sound men, people that carry the tripods, the directors, the producers. It's just a sea of people to film these 7 people all starving and competing for a place to win $1 million in the end. So I was really kind of surprised. And the camera I was looking for, I still haven't figured out. There's one that they point up at the sky and they get great videos of the stars and the Milky Way. My camera is not quite sensitive enough for that. I can get stars, and I can zoom in on things like Jupiter and pick out some moons on it when I zoom it up nice and close with the tripod. But I do not get the Milky Way, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm hoping to find that. Otherwise, I'm going to pass it back, and I'm going to go eat dinner, so I'm going to give my 73 right here, because we're right near the end anyhow. This is Jessica, KF7UHK. And by the way, I just want to say also, Bert, those are some fantastic pictures you stuck up on Facebook. I was wanted to mention that. Nice looking pictures. All right, this is it, KF7UHK.
UHK, go enjoy your salmon. Let's go to Lee in 7KC.
Okay, we're back on here in 7KC Lee in Port Angeles. I have not had any luck at Space Weather making that animation go, but you can go to the NOAA site and see if I can get it up here. Yeah, watch this. Anyway, that was the start of it, I think, last night, and so it's going around to pretty much a full 24. And then you can see it come into our time tonight. And our green was down lower, and then it kind of retracted. See, they're pulled back now. Started over. Anyway, this is Sierra Whiskey Papa Charlie, probably for Space Weather something center, I don't know, .noaa.gov if you're interested. It's got a lot of other really nice plots there, easy to get to. I don't have anything else. Back to you, David, 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles.
In 7KC, thanks for sharing that with us. Now let's pick up Bert again, N7CS.
Hey, let's see. Oh yeah, so Lee, I know like the video you were just showing of like where that was last night and stuff. I know people were able to see it much further south than even what that graph was showing, because my mom in Texas was able to see it from their place, and I also saw some of my friends on Facebook from Florida saying they were able to get pictures of it. So I think just about anybody that didn't have clouds in the U.S. would have seen it if they were out there looking for it, like anywhere. I don't know if Jessica's still listening or not, but yeah, she was talking about Survivor. That's a show I watch a lot, and yeah, usually they hide all those cameras pretty well, but there was this one incident on Survivor maybe 10 years ago where 3 people passed out like from heat exhaustion at the same time, and basically they started having to bring in a bunch of medical people on and everything, and the cameras just, they didn't care what they weren't filming anymore, so they were showing everything. So the beach of like the 15 contestants or whatever, you would see like 100 other people there with all the the boom mics and all the other cameras. It was crazy just seeing that many people there when that incident happened, when all the people had heat stroke. But yeah, that's probably it for now. So I'll do my 73. I don't think it'll come back to me. And oh wait, actually one thing I noticed on Zoom earlier, that when I did my thumbs up like that, it kind of made a weird firecracker. Is it going to do it? Nope, it didn't do it now. Now when I'm trying to do it, yeah, I don't know what the gesture was that made. I'm trying to do it now. Oh well. Okay, I just wanted to try that. It doesn't work now. Okay, 73. There's a bird from Marysville and 7 CS. Back to that.
7 CS. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Interesting you mentioned that, Bert, because I just noticed a new feature on Zoom, AI Companion. I don't know how long it's been around, but I haven't. I didn't want to play around with it while we're on the air, but I think as soon as we go off the air, I'll play around and see what it does. Let's see. I thought I had one other thing. No, I guess I don't. Okay, so I'll just say my 73s and have a good night, everybody.
K9PQ. Let's see if we got Wade with us again. W7ITL.
W7ITL, and I'll say 73 as well. And it's nice seeing everybody as usual. So we'll let you guys go and have a good night. And make sure to look outside when it gets dark and see if you can see the aurora. So that's it. Whiskey 7, India Tango Lima.
W7ITL. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Jessica, Survivor. Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes of that, and I saw people, I don't know, getting hurt or whatever. I missed the where people were passing out due to heat stroke or whatever, but man, that's brutal. I didn't want to watch people getting hurt, even if it's something that they're kind of sort of doing for fun, or for $1 million. It's I couldn't take it. But anyway, thanks for mentioning that. And Lee, yeah, swpc.noaa.gov. Thank you for mentioning that. And that graphic, that looked pretty good. My wife actually got an email from something, and I think it was probably that same graphic. At least it looked the same. So someone is out there publishing that data. I know we were trying to figure out last night when would be the optimum time for us to see it. But just like Bert was saying, it looked like people were seeing the aurora considerably south of the line, which was predicted as the southernmost limit by the aurora guessers. And okay, I borrowed that moniker from Jessica there. Like weather guessers, well, these are aurora guessers. But anyway, really cool. Last one, 2003. I can't say I remember it. I was probably traveling somewhere. That's more than likely why I can't remember what happened there. But I probably won't be around for the next aurora like this. So it was good to see that. And thanks everyone for the information and the pictures out there. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
7QO, let's go to James, WU7N.
It looks like we're coming up real fast at the top of the hour, so I'll use my time to put out the plug that we invite any licensed radio amateur to participate. We have our nets at 8 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and we use the special PL tone of 103.5 just for this net for those 2 hours, or the 1 hour each day, Wednesday and Saturday. You can either just check in and check out or join the conversation. Good conversation was tonight. Special thanks to Jessica and Bert for sharing that video and those pictures. That's really some good work. You've inspired me. I'm going to go out and try to, whenever I naturally wake up, I'm going to stagger out there with my camera and see if I can see anything. I've got 3 blinding lights, a street light, and 2 lights on the side of my house that kind of I thought were just interfering, just too much light, and I just didn't have it in me to go get my car and drive to someplace dark. And plus, I wasn't wearing very much. It's embarrassing to get pulled over. And, what do you tell the officer? No, I'm looking at the aurora. Sure you are. I could imagine that. Anyway, with that, let me turn it back to our net control, Dave, KD7ZYM, to wrap this net up. WW7N.
7N, thanks for that. It's time to sign off the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions during this session. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, signing off at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.